Hello. Thanks for joining me again. We're going to finish reading Flashy Fantastic Rainforest Frogs today. The last time we read, we practiced wondering about expository nonfiction text, which is a nonfiction text that teaches you about something, kind of like your animal reports. And we practice wondering not just so that we can come up with fun questions, but to help us really understand and think more deeply about what we're reading. So when we're wondering, it's important that we're just not coming up with random questions, but we're really coming up with questions that are based on what we've been reading. That's what helps us think more deeply about the text and understand it and enjoy it more. So we're going to keep doing that today. We're going to finish the book and we will continue to wonder and listen for the answers to our questions. In the last lesson, you came up with some lists of things that you wondered. Go ahead and grab that list now so you can add on to it today if you don't already have it. And then just take a moment to look back over your questions and think to yourself about the things that you learned about rainforest frogs and the things that you still wonder. Go ahead and pause the video for a minute and do that work, and then restart when you're ready. Okay, so I was looking back over my list, and actually the first question helped me remember something that I learned. The first question that I wrote down was, I wonder what kinds of homes frogs have in tropical rainforests. And I remember reading that they mostly live on the ground or in various parts of the canopy, that they rarely live in ponds or streams in the rainforest because the air was so moist that they didn't actually need to live in the water or even super duper near the water to be able to survive. So maybe you named something else that you learned about frogs last time. And then I have a lot of things that I'm still wondering. I'm wondering how big tropical rainforest frogs can get. I'm wondering who the predators of rainforest frogs are, and then what the poison from poison dart frogs can do. So as I'm reading, I'm going to look for the answers to those questions, and I'm going to keep coming up with more questions as well based on what I read. Okay, so I skipped part of the book. I skipped about 8 pages because it's a really long book, and I didn't think I'd be able to get it all in. For this lesson. I will do another quick lesson after this where I read those pages. So if you want to hear those pages, you can do that after you watch this video. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and start reading, and then I'll stop in a little bit to have you stop and think about questions that you have. And in this section, we're going to be reading about how rainforest frogs are used by scientists. The chemicals in poison dart frog skin are very interesting to scientists. Like other poisons, they can be useful as medicine in small doses. One chemical from poison dart frog skin is a more powerful painkiller than morphine. Others could be used as heart attack medicines. Okay, so I'm going to pause for a minute here and just think about another question that I have based on what I just read. I'll go ahead and pause the video and write down something that you're wondering based on what I just read as well. Okay, so I changed the view a little bit so that you could see the pictures better. So hopefully you jotted down a question. I wrote down, I wonder what the names of those medicines are. I wonder if I use some of those medicines that are taken from the poison of poison dart frogs. All right, in the next section, we're going to read about how some types of rainforest frogs are becoming extinct, which means that they're dying out. Frogs need homes to live in. When forests are cut down, frogs and other animals have no place to live, so they die out. Frogs that live in a limited area are especially threatened. The blue poison frog, for example, is found only in small parts of forests in the South American country of Suriname. If its home is destroyed by people harvesting wood, this frog will become extinct. Frogs have been on Earth for more than 150 million years. But today, frogs are disappearing quickly from some parts of the planet. No one is sure why. Some fear that the increase in ultraviolet light reaching Earth may be to blame. Whatever is killing frogs could be a danger for other forms of life too. Scientists are working hard to understand what is happening so that the beauty and usefulness of frogs will always be with us. So I'm going to reread those last two pages that I just read. And as I'm doing that, really think about whether you have any questions left about rainforest frogs and whether any of the questions that you've asked so far are answered. Frogs need homes to live in. When forests are cut down, frogs and other animals have no place to live, so they die out. Frogs that live in a limited area are especially threatened. The blue poison frog, for example, is found only in small parts of forests in the South American country of Suriname. If its home is destroyed by people harvesting wood, this frog will become extinct. Frogs have been on Earth for more than 150 million years. But today, frogs are disappearing quickly from some parts of the planet. No one is sure why. Some fear that the increase in ultraviolet light reaching Earth may be to blame. Whatever is killing frogs could be a danger for other forms of life too. Scientists are working hard to understand what is happening so that the beauty and usefulness of frogs will always be with us. Okay, so take a moment again, you can pause the video if you need to think about the last couple of pages, and based on what you heard, what are you wondering? All right, so hopefully you got one last question down. I wrote down, I wonder how we can help save these frogs. It's really sad to me that they're dying out, and I wonder what people can do in their everyday life to try to help save them. So now we're going to take a moment to look back over our whole list of questions and just go ahead and circle any that you think you found the answers to as I was reading. And questions that are still unanswered, you're just going to leave them there. And that's okay. Questions are often unanswered when we're reading nonfiction books. It doesn't really matter because just the act of asking the question and stopping to think about the text long enough to come up with a question helps us become stronger readers and really think deeply about what we're reading. So go ahead and take a moment. You can pause the video again to look back over your list and circle any questions that were answered in the reading. Okay, so hopefully you're able to circle one or two. If not, again, that's okay. But I had to kind of think about mine a little bit. But one question that I circled is, I wonder who the predators of frogs in the tropical rainforest are. And it wasn't exactly answered how I thought it would be because I didn't find out which animals hunt frogs, but I did find out that one of the reasons that rainforest frogs die is because their habitats are being destroyed and their habitats are being lost by people. So people aren't necessarily a predator. We're not eating the rainforest frogs, but we are a reason that the rainforest frogs are dying. So I circled that. And then another one I circled is, what else can the poison from poison dart frogs do? Because of that page where we found out that the poison from poison dart frogs can actually be used in medicines. Like it says, they can be useful as medicine in small doses. One chemical from poison dart frog skin is a more powerful painkiller than morphine. Others could be used as heart attack medicines. So that page helped answer that question about what the poison from poison dart frogs can do. All right, so your next step is to take a picture of your list or if it's a Word document, just attach it and submit it to the Things I Wonder About Flashy Fantastic Rainforest Frogs page so I can check out some of the wondering work that you did as we were reading this story. Okay, I'm going to stop this video now, but if you go down to the next video, you can hear me read aloud the pages that I skipped over in this video. You don't have to do any wondering along with me, although I hope that you're doing it in your head as you listen. It's just me reading those interesting pages. Okay, thank you so much. Can't wait to see what you were wondering.